everybody, and welcome back to Cooking with Glenn and Katie.
Today we'll be cooking some vegetable soup, some cornbread, and with that we'll have some jalapeno butter, and for the dessert we'll have a blackberry cobbler.
She absolutely loved Coca-Cola products, so I'm actually wearing this Japanese Coca-Cola shirt because I love Japanese. Dad is wearing a Simply Saving Blood Collection shirt. Tell us about it.
Okay, this shirt came from the Community Blood Center of the Carolinas. Robin needed lots of blood during her sickness. She had to have 63 units of blood. And so we celebrate the people that gave blood and extended Robin's life. I need to pick some jalapeno peppers. Look at all these jalapenos. I didn't know I had so many. It's just a beautiful plant. It's just loaded with them. So I think I'm gonna pick 2 or 3 to put in the butter that I'll be making. I'm just gonna twist it around to break it off. There we go, there's 2. I need to pick some flowers for the centerpiece. The mucky grass has a pretty purple flower on it.
Show you how to make homemade vegetable soup. It's amazing. My grandmother made it, my mom made it for us, and now my sister and I love to make it. First, I'm going to put my burner on medium heat and add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. This is a double recipe because we are having our family over this evening for dinner to celebrate the life of our mom. If you were doing a single recipe, you would only use 2 tablespoons. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of onions, 2 cups of celery, and 2 cups of carrots. Again, if you're doing a single recipe, you would do 1 cup of each. I'm just gonna toss these guys in the pot. Ooh, it's starting to sizzle, which is awesome. This is just gonna create a really good base for your soup, having awesome flavors and making that comfort flavor that we all love in soup. So the trick is to cook these down not until they turn brown, but until they get a little wimpy looking. You just kind of want them to look like It'll take probably about 5 to 10 minutes for these to actually cook down. So I'm just going to keep stirring them in the olive oil. Now I have 2 pounds of ground beef. If you're just doing 1 pot of soup, not a double serving, you just use 1 pound. And into the pot it goes. I'm just gonna crunch this stuff up until it's all broken down and brown. As you'll see, I try to always chunk it up into small pieces because that is what my mom always loved. The next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is add in our vegetables. We are going to be adding in 2 cans of corn, 2 cans of green beans, and 4 cups of potatoes, or roughly 3 to 4 medium potatoes. We're also gonna be adding about 2 cups of shredded cabbage. So let's go ahead and add this stuff. So I'm gonna start, doesn't matter what order you put everything in, just adding in the potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the green beans and the corn, and I'm also going to keep the liquid. So be sure not to drain them. This is gonna add great flavor to your broth. Now remember, you would just half all of these veggies if you were making in one batch versus the 2 that we're making today. Because that is a lot of veggies, yes! But it's going to be excellent. This is such a wonderful soup. Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the cabbage now. You want this soup to sit for at least an hour so that the potatoes and the cabbage can boil, I would say, in the liquid that you're gonna be adding. Now, I definitely need liquid in here before I add all my seasonings. So what I'm gonna add first are these crushed tomatoes. These were actually canned by my dad from his garden. Now, if you don't have the canned tomatoes, that's a-okay. Just buy some vegetable juice at your store and use that along with water. We're gonna be using water today, but the fresh tomatoes just adds a little something special. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour these in. My dad told me to be sure to hold on to that so it wouldn't fall in the soup. But we're gonna go ahead and blend up this can as well, and then I will show you guys about adding the water and the seasonings next. I've mixed in the tomato juice, and so now I'm gonna pour in some water. There's no rhyme or reason to this. You just want it to, you just want it to get brothy. You don't want it to be like a stew and like super thick, but you don't want it to be like super runny either, because then there's no hardiness to that. So right now, it actually looks a little too thick, like a little too much stew-like. So I'm gonna add some more water. Yes, this looks better. This isn't too brothy. It isn't too stewy. So the last things before we go ahead and let this stay on the stove, a tablespoon of garlic salt, as well as anywhere between 2 to 4 tablespoons of dried parsley. When I just make a single batch, I only use 1 teaspoon of this, but definitely don't want to over salt. Don't want to under salt either. So this looks good to start with. We can always taste it later and see if we need to add more. I'm gonna go ahead and add the parsley. Now, I just love the look of parsley. Oh my goodness, when you mix it in. So I go a little heavy with it. The flavor isn't too strong at all. I'll probably just start with 3 tablespoons and mix it in. Because what I'm looking for with the parsley flakes is you to be able to see the green no matter what part of the broth you put in your bowl. So if I don't feel like there's that beautiful green throughout, that means I need to add a little bit more. And I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of the parsley, and then I think we'll be set. Now, as you can see, these are heavy-handed tablespoons, so just have fun with it. You cannot mess this recipe up in any way. It's delicious. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let this simmer for the next hour, and we'll show you what it looks like when we serve it up. Now it's time to make my mom's cornbread recipe. First, we're gonna start by getting cast iron pans, and we're gonna be putting oil in the pans. Put the pan in the oven to heat up, and then we'll mix the rest. One thing to keep in mind about cast iron is that you want it to be well seasoned, which means that every time you bake in it with oils or anything, don't feel like you have to wash it with soap and water. Actually, all you need to do is take a paper towel and wipe it out and be good to go, and it'll only be better the next time that you use it, adding more flavor to whatever you're cooking. The recipe I'm going to give you today is actually for an 8-inch cast iron pan, but with what I've actually measured out, I'm going to be making a 12-inch pan for our family. For this, I'm going to be putting in 10 tablespoons. I enlisted my dad because that is one heavy cast iron, and we're putting it in a 400-degree oven till the oil gets hot. Now it's time to actually make the cornbread mix. So I've already measured that out, but if you were just doing the 8-inch cast iron amount, you would use 1 cup of the flour. Next, you would pour in 3/4 of a cup of either milk or buttermilk. I've chosen buttermilk today. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix these two together and then add some eggs in. My mom always loved to use buttermilk with this recipe. I think it's the best. Now that it's just a little bit mixed in, so there's a little more room, I can go ahead and add my eggs. And of course, since Dad has his own chickens, I can just get some eggs that his own hens laid. If you were making the 8-inch cast iron, you would only use 1 egg for this recipe. There we go. I'm gonna do the same with the other 2. Now that I put the 3 eggs in, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this until it's well mixed up. And then after that, I'm going to actually take the hot oil that's in the oven right now and add it to this. So the oil that's in the pan, there will be a thin layer coating it, so I'll be able to get the cornbread out later. But the majority of those 10 tablespoons that I utilize for this will be going into the cornbread that we're gonna eat. Yes. So that is, let's see how many people we're having to dinner tonight. 6 plus 3 is 9. So that's just a little under a full tablespoon of oil for each of us.
And Katie wants me to pour this oil into the batter. It's sizzling.
So now I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this oil into the batter. Then I'm gonna pour the batter into the cast iron skillet and bake it at 400 degrees for 20 minutes or until golden brown. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pour the batter into the cast iron skillet. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this looks amazing. This is going to taste delicious. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I'm gonna show you on the sides in just a second. It's already starting to bake up on the sides because of how warm the pan is. So now, Dad is gonna go ahead and put it back in the oven for me and get it baking.
I'm going to make some jalapeno butter. It's very simple. I like to use my little Oscar to blend everything together. You can do it by hand. You can kind of chop it up by yourself and just mush it all together. But I'm going to put the jalapenos. I've already cut them up. I took the white ribbing out. I took the seeds out. And now I'm going to put them in here. I've got a small clove of garlic I'm going to add to it. And I've got a teaspoon of garlic salt pepper. This is softened butter. It's about room temperature. It's not too soft. I'm going to blend it together. And look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Jalapeno butter. It's a family favorite. And it's going to be great on the cornbread. We're going to make Robin's famous no-full fruit pie. And we always love the fruit to be blackberries. I remember when Robin and I dated that she made this, and I thought it was the best cobbler ever. I found this pan here, look at this pan, at a yard sale for $1. And I asked what it was, and they said it was a pan where you have lots of crust. And I know that everybody loves the crust of this cobbler, and so I said I'm gonna buy this. And so it's a baker's edge. I like to see how good of a deal I get when I go to yard sales. And I went online and I found that was $39, so I did get a very good deal. I need to melt butter in here. I went ahead and cut the stick of butter into 6 pieces so I could spread this out. I'm gonna put it in the oven. The oven is preheating at 350 degrees, and this butter is gonna melt in about 5 minutes. While the butter is melting in the pan, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the ingredients here. I have a cup of sugar, so I'm gonna put a cup of sugar in here. A cup of self-rising flour, and 3/4 cup of milk. I'm going to stir it together with a spoon. And I'm going to let it sit while the butter melts in the pan. I've got the pan, it's got butter in it. It's all melted, so the timing was perfect. Now I'm going to take this mixture, I'm going to pour it through here like this. Kind of like going through a maze. There's only one way so you don't get lost. And And now I will add the blackberries. These came this summer from the garden, and I will just sprinkle these through here. I've got some thornless blackberries. I just kind of spread it through. I'll be putting this in a 350-degree oven for about 30-35 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 35 minutes called Blackberry Cobbler.
Alright, a 35-minute timer called Blackberry Cobbler.
This looks very, very good.
This is how you take it out. You put a plate on top of it, and then you hold the plate, flip it over, and now we're going to get another plate, put it on here, and flip it back over to the good side. And that is a plateful, isn't it? Look at this blackberry cobbler. It is beautiful.
This is so good.
I'm Betsy. I am Glenn and Robin's oldest daughter, and of course Katie's sister. And I'm also mom to Isaac, Elise, and Grace, who you saw in the last video. This is one of my favorite meals that Mom and Dad made growing up and that Mom taught me to make. And I make it for my family very regularly now, especially the vegetable soup. Mom always made the absolute best cornbread, and Dad makes this amazing jalapeno butter. And then the cobbler is just out of this world. It's so yummy. And you can use so many different kinds of fruits in it, but we absolutely love the blackberry in it.
My name is
What a good meal. It brought back a lot of memories. Your mom would make it all the time. This is our 10th episode, a very special one.
If you enjoy these recipes, watching this video, please give us a thumbs up, comment your thoughts, your feedback, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We'd love to have you. We will see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.